Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That took an absolute age to get online there. Well, you join me this morning, a beautiful day. I've got something for the little chicks there. The cheeky chickens have been up pestering. So come on then, kids. You coming for a bit of brekkie? Come on then. So anyway, let's just put this out for them. Come on, you. Come on, darling. There we go. There we go. Look at this. Look at this. All ready for you. Look at that. Am I good? Hey? Oh, they're all being a bit shy now. And they'll be making lots of noise probably throughout the broadcast. Right, let's have a look at today. What glorious weather today. It's got a bit of a wind, I've got to be honest. I have got a little bit of a jacket on because even though it's lovely and sunny, and what a beautiful day it would have been for a parade today for Piccolo. That would have been the first parade of our carnival season, and that would have been for all the children from the primary schools. They would have all got together, and from some of the other schools as well, and they would have paraded through the streets of Zakynthos town today. But unfortunately that is not going to happen because we are still under our lockdown measures. But other than that, it's a glorious day. Also as well, a bit of a strange thing happened last night. Well, two strange things happened last night. First one was, Amanda, you might have heard it, but last night, probably after midnight, we had a firework display in that direction. Somebody was setting fireworks off after midnight. Now, whether that was a form of protest or somebody was having a secret party or something like that, I don't know, but it certainly made us all jump up and stand out on the balcony of our houses and look out in this direction through the tree to where the firework display was going on. So I'm not sure if you must have heard them from where you were anyway, Amanda. So I know you're watching at the moment and that you've obviously sent me a message, but I haven't been able to read it yet. Just looking down the back of the house then, Kalamaki Lake in that area, again, absolutely glorious weather, absolutely beautiful. It's going to be a nice day in that direction as well as a nice direction looking towards Sullivan. A little bit of cloud up there, but not a lot. We were supposed to have had rain yesterday at one point, and I've got to be honest, it looked like it was going to happen here in Macardo, and it didn't. We were just sort of sat there during the day expecting it. It's looking a bit grim, a bit cloudy. It looks like it's going to rain, but it never did. So I'm not sure if they're giving out rain again for today, but we'll find out. Anyway, see Hilary Rogers is looking in as well. I think she'll be checking me numbers and lockdown numbers and see if I'm still in key with her. But anyway, let's go through. Oh, yes. The other thing that happened yesterday, which was odd, I got asked by a friend in the UK if I would put up a petition for basically animal welfare here on the island. There has been for many years issues about certain local legislation in regards being able to transport animals, rescue animals from Zakynthos out of the country, and obviously giving them homes in Holland, in Germany, and also in the UK. Well, again, there's a bit of an online campaign at the moment, and there's a petition below where I am at the moment for you to be able to sign just to basically get this on the agenda for future meetings with the local council here for something to be done about this really weird legislation that was put in place, and some of it was put in place through misinformation about treatment of strays. It's kind of a bit hypocritical, really. One minute you're saying you're animal lovers, but in the other token you don't look after the animals the way that they should be looked after. Everything here regards the animals is all being done on a voluntary basis with donations from the public, no public money in any way. For years they've been campaigning to have like a municipal compound here where strays could be taken, treated, etc., and then obviously rehomed and rehoused. But that's all been done on a local level. And anyway, the petition went up. I signed it. Other people signed it as well. And the thing was, I then started getting trolled yesterday from somebody from, initially from Athens. Somebody wrote a rant basically about all the animals. Are they going to be safe? Are they going to be this? And are they going to be that? And can I also thank the lovely Sally, who also wrote a very long, detailed reply to this person. Well, after that, I started getting hit with online trolling. I must have had 30 advertisements for weight loss from a certain individual called Sharon Locke, whoever you are out there. I don't believe that you're a real person. And in the end, I had to go to the standards people for Facebook and say, look, this is harassment more than nothing else. And eventually, the 30 odd posts were then obviously removed, and I haven't heard anything more since. But please sign the petition. A lot of people here spend a lot of time, a lot of money as well. They spend a lot of time trying to raise money as well, so that these animals do have a better life. A lot of it is education of people here. I've got to be honest, animal welfare since I've been here since 2005 has improved. People are being more shall we say, kinder to their animals. They don't use them as a machine. Yes, we still see dogs tied up for hours and hours on very short leads, etc., etc. But I do see Greeks now taking their dogs for a walk. I do see dogs and animals being part of the family, whereas before they were a cheap guard dog outside the house just keeping burglars away. But things have improved in that, but there's still a long way to go. And obviously sterilisation of animals is one of the easiest ways to cut down on unwanted puppies. I feel sorry for them. They never asked to be born, the puppies. They just get born and then they get dumped, and people throw them out of their cars, leave them somewhere as if, well, that's my responsibility. But when it comes to having an animal sterilised, oh, you can't do that. A sort of Greek mentality thing kicks in of this, oh, no, he's got to have all his bits. He's a man, you know, all this sort of bollocks. So basically, yeah, sign the petition, all right? There's a lot of people here who really do put their heart and soul into looking after the strays and doing something, and things are better, and they'd be a lot worse, trust me, if these people aren't allowed to just get on and do what they do. And amazingly, there are still people who will come on holiday, they'll fall in love with an animal that they've been feeding as a stray, and they will then basically say, I want to take this animal home and give it a proper home. And once again, check out Zanti Strays, check out Healing Paws, check out Zorf, Animal Welfare. Check out all these different charities. They're all doing the same thing. They all tackle it from a different direction. But from my experience, a lot of these people, they really do it for a genuine reason. All right. So just sign it at the bottom and let's get rid of this stupid, bureaucracy which has been put in place by people who just don't understand what is being done, and they're the people who are not prepared to do a lot themselves, if you know what I mean, and shout from the rafters, oh yeah, these are Greek animals, they must stay in Greek. Why, for God's sake? They need a home. They don't care what nationality you are. They're dogs, they're cats, or whatever they want. Obviously somebody's going to love them and look after them. So anyway, that's the end of that rant. And to you, Sharon Locke, whoever you are, I hope you have a nice life. All right. Let's have a look at the news for today. It is day 121 of the lockdown. It's the 7th of March. It's a Sunday, a beautiful Sunday. And once again, today would have been Piccolo Day. It would have been fantastic today. Jane and I, what we would have done, we'd have gone down and fed the strays down in Kalamaki. And then from that, we would have whizzed into town for about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, ready for the children's parade around the streets. And then we would have just hung about there for the evening, listened to the music. There might have been a live band playing in the middle of St Marco's Square, and all sorts of things going on in different bars and different places, and all the people in their costumes and stuff like that. We would have enjoyed to have done that, but that's not going to happen this year, and hopefully it might happen next year. Anyway, let's have a look at the COVID infections in the last 24 hours. Yesterday, I reported that there were 2,702 infections, and now that is down to 2,301 new infections across the country, which is a good positive movement, bringing the grand total to well over 200,000 now, 203,978 total cases of coronavirus since the pandemic started a year ago. Anyway, 14 cases were identified at entry points into the country. That's also down from 15 on the previous day, so things are looking good there. Now, according to the national stats yesterday, Lefkada had 4 new cases, Kefalonia had none, Corfu had 6, and Zakynthos, according to the national stats, had 3. However, on the ground, and those are catch-up stats obviously, but on the ground yesterday for Saturday, we had 2 positive new cases of coronavirus here on the island. One of those was a 55-year-old teacher at the second high school, and the second was a 14-year-old student again of the second grade of the second gymnasium, and they were both tested positive. They had mild symptoms, and obviously they've been sent home to self-isolate. Now, one thing that is known is that they are people who have been, shall we say, contaminated through other people who had it. So they are checking for other contacts that those people may have had. So that brings the grand total at the moment for the month of March. We've had 21 cases, and it's only the 7th of March. In total over the year, Zakynthos has had 119 positive cases since the beginning of the year. Right. When it comes to deaths, unfortunately, deaths across the country from coronavirus, they're up at the moment from 32 on the previous report to 41. Again, the average age of those people passing away is 79 years of age, and 96.4% of those people had underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70. And just to put that in context, the average daily death rate in Zakynthos before coronavirus would be about 329 cases a day. All right. When it comes to incubations, then at the moment, that is up, but not by much. All right. I did report to you last time there were 451 incubations. Now it is 452 incubations, of which 314 are male and 138 are female. And the average age of those people in incubation is 68 years of age, and 86.5% of them have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. Now, the Secretary General of the Primary Healthcare, Marianos Thesalouski, referred to the number of citizens who have been vaccinated so far. Now, this is across Greece, but also to those who have been vaccinated by the end of April and the beginning of May. Now, he spoke about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, stressing that the US pharmaceutical industry has committed 1.2 million vaccines in the second quarter. Now, he also reiterated its promise to the EU so that this will be observed, but we do not know exactly the days of April it will be towards, or the end of April, he said characteristically. All right. So basically, they're waiting for 1.2 million doses of this vaccine from Johnson & Johnson, but it's not sure if it'll be at the beginning of April or at the end of April. But he said for citizens who have been vaccinated, the Secretary General of the Primary Healthcare stressed 1 million people will be vaccinated by March. At the moment, 700,000 have already taken the first dose. This is across Greece, by the way, and the remaining 362,000 have taken the second dose. Now, in March, close to the national holiday, there will be 1 million vaccinated citizens, he said. When you consider that the population of Greece is about 11 million people, it's slowly at the moment. He also added that the second doses of all vaccines are now guaranteed. So some people have had the first, but now, according to the minister, the second dose is also on the way. Anyway, he said the most critical point will be April, when Pfizer deliveries are expected, and they are big recipients, he said, who are expecting the Pfizer vaccine. We expect 4 million in that quarter. We will be very happy in April if we close to 1 million from Pfizer. So this is the different vaccines, 1 million from Pfizer, another million from another vaccine. So again, I don't think you're going to get a choice in what you have. Like in the UK, you'll get given what you'll be given depending on your age and whether it's appropriate for you to have that vaccine. Remember, Germany's had problems with people wanting one particular brand of vaccine and not turning up for appointments. And there was a big PR thing there trying to encourage people to have the alternative vaccines, but the Germans weren't really up for that. And we're expecting the Germans here on the 3rd of May, all right? Based on the data, we believe that at the end of April, beginning of May, all citizens over the age of 60, oh, that's me, may have been vaccinated with at least one dose by mid-May. Anyway, in March, we believe that we will be able to open the platform for higher risk groups as well. Once again, just to remind you, if you are between 60 and 64, the platforms is now open for you to go and get an appointment if you want the vaccine. The easiest way to do it from people I've been speaking to is go to your local pharmacy, speak to them, and they will obviously sort you out a booking. People I do know have already got bookings for certain dates, but again, we're still waiting to see that the vaccines actually start to turn up, all right? Because at the moment, we're still awaiting. Anyway, another good bit of news that I saw this morning, and I've just quickly written this quick story this morning, is the hope that the day of lifting measures is approaching and that Greece will celebrate Easter with its families in their villages, and that is now being expressed by scientists. Now, according to Athos Eskelidos, the president of the Pan-Hellenic Medical Association, the image leaves room for optimism. However, the situation, according to the experts, is still difficult as new cases of the coronavirus remain high at very high levels. Anyway, nevertheless, the gentleman said that speaking to Sky's main news bulletin yesterday, the pressure on the Greek health service is in this third wave is milder than it was on the second, than what we saw in November. He also said this is a development, he stressed, which is partly surprising given the spread of mutations that are more contagious. You've got to remember as well, as the weather starts to get warmer, the virus has naturally started to recede because it doesn't like the heat, it prefers the cold. So I can understand November being worse than it is now. And as time is going on, it's getting warmer. And so obviously the virus is starting to recede a bit. But also as well, the new variants that are coming in, which he talks about, they're also not being as effective as what they were first anticipating. Anyway, Mr. Elias noted that in order to start the gradual lifting of measures, we must see a trend of cases reversed. And at this stage, it is slightly upward in some areas and not so in other areas. Or it is stagnant as well. However, we will see how it goes downhill. It will be time to see the next new steps. Asked if he can refer to specific numbers, the president stressed that he would not speak about absolute numbers, as tests also play a part as well. So basically, he was just edging on caution there about trying to bring numbers into the game. Now, concerns about the mutations in young people, the president then of the Central Health Council and the director of the 7th Pulmonary Clinic of the Salvation Hospital by the name of Miss Minga Gaga, like Lady Gaga, she said that they are a thorn. The mutations, especially the strains associated with the South African and Brazil, as such as 2 cases were recorded for the first time in Attica. She said they have signalled a bell for the situation in Greece's health service and for the admission and incubation of young people. So it seems that young people are now becoming more susceptible. Miss Gaga also noted that in the ICU of Satira Hospital, there's a 20-year-old incubated patient who had no underlying diseases, while there was another incubated patient under 38 years of age who had, again, was a suspect, who again had contracted the virus, again had no underlying health issues, and so she's basically saying that at the moment, in her eyes, no one is immune at the moment. Anyway, the president, however, said that things could open after Shrove Monday, that's March the 15th, or take an extra week till March the 22nd, getting close to that parade in Athens, as I said yesterday. He said also at time, shopkeepers are expressing fears of an epidemic of padlocks. That means closures of business. That's the Greek term. Scientists have already suggested the opening of the retail market before Shrove Monday. So we'll see what happens. We were due to have things reopen round about the 11th of, it was the 8th, and then it got shifted to the 11th. But somehow we'll wait and see if anything does happen. But I think it will happen a little bit later myself. But anyway, interestingly, there was another article in the Mirror yesterday from the shopkeepers of Zakynthos, and I think this has to be read out and has to be told. With the new restrictions, the shopkeepers have said that they are in a state of confusion. We cannot work with this situation, and reduced sales are coming as well due to people shopping online. But also the restrictions themselves have caused confusion. And it is strange that yesterday, Jane and I, we had to go into town to sort something out. We noticed some shops open, some shops closed, some shops doing what looked like a click and collect, other shops not doing that. And again, a kind of not quite sure what's going on at the moment. I thought you were supposed to be closed unless you were doing click and collect. There is a feeling of confusion with shopkeepers as they don't really know where they stand, and as long as they're not being chased by the police, they're going to keep doing business because they have to survive. Anyway, according to the article, businesses have reached a tipping point on Zakynthos with the continuous differentiation of measures for the coronavirus. The new restrictions announced by the government have brought greater resentment and concern to entrepreneurs. They also said specifically Zakynthos returned to the click and away regime for its stores, with several owners being very confused and not knowing what the measures to follow. In fact, many expressed to the Mirror newspaper their confusion about what is happening and the new restrictions on the coronavirus, and stressed that they are tired, while the same is true with consumers, that they do not know what is the true time in the market. Anyway, of course, all this situation does not have positive results for the stores, as their customer base has decreased significantly, with many of our fellow citizens closing themselves at home or shopping online in order to limit their travel. Anyway, in general, the movement of citizens was restricted yesterday after the new measures of the government. For their part, the shopkeepers emphasised that their last hope is the summer, which, if it does not go well, there is a greater risk of having piles of padlocks in the market and a great economic recession. So at the moment, the shopkeepers are now getting really, really fed up with what's going on, and they're confused, as a lot of us are confused as well, as to the fine detail of what we're allowed and what we're not allowed to do during this extended lockdown that we find ourselves in at the moment. Right, interestingly though, the police seem to know what they're doing, as intensive checks are being carried out across the Ionian Island by the special teams that the police have got, whose job is to spread it the limit of coronavirus. Now, in particular, on Zakynthos on Tuesday and on Friday, there were 59 violations in Corfu, 16 in Zakynthos, 8 in Kefalonia, 6 in Macardo on breaking restrictions of movement. Okay, that means basically they hadn't either booked in or booked out, or they were out after the curfew was in place. And of course, all those people have been fined €300. Now, interestingly, again, in the same context, there were 20 violations in Corfu, 6 in Kefalonia, only 3 in Zakynthos for the non-use of wearing masks. And obviously there's a €300 fine if you're not wearing a mask while you're out and about, wandering the streets, if you're allowed. Okay, in a normal day. All right. So again, just be careful. The police are still out, and I wouldn't be too surprised they'll be out today, just looking to catch people out for not complying with the lockdown. Anyway, and finally, a bit of good news. All right. The Deputy Minister for Education, Ms. Marcus, had a meeting with the Zakynthos Member of Parliament, Mr. Doniotis Actis, on Friday, focusing on the discussion efforts for the reopening of the Public Historical Library of Zakynthos. Now, this is a story that I've actually been following this, actually. Zakynthos has a library here, which, believe it or not, is the oldest library in Greece. Okay, it dates way back, and technically it's the oldest library. It has a lot of rare books, first editions. It traces its roots back to the Venetian era, and basically it's been in a poor state of repair, and it's because of my ex-boss, Mr. Philippos, that this has been kept in the forefront. He's done an awful lot of work to bring that to public attention. Money has been promised for it, and basically this library project is hopefully on its way to fruition. Anyway, the local MP was in there banging the drum with the Minister of Education, saying that the library should have this money put forward to it. He also praised Mr. Philippos as well for all his work as well, as head of the committee for the library, to obviously steer it to a conclusion that the library will open. The library is also trying to archive all of its books as well, which is kind of fascinating. You've got to remember, Zakynthos is an island of poetry and music. A lot of people forget that. And it has a big history. You look at the national anthem for Greece, written by a Zakynthos here in Zakynthos, and also other areas of poetry and that have been covered, and a lot of that work is in that library. And again, it's been neglected over the years, and obviously there is a concerted effort to get more public awareness, get more in the way of the library actually functioning, so people can obviously go and use it, because again, it's one of those things, you kind of take libraries for granted where you are, probably back in the UK, but they are a wonderful source of information. They're also a great place, obviously, just not for getting books, but also just getting historical information about where you live. So anyway, hats off to the MP. I'm going to bang a drum for him, and also Mr. Philippos from Hermes as well, for all that he's doing to get the library up and open and people interested in it. It might be a place to visit next time you're over here in Zakynthos. Right, let's have a quick look and see who's online. I've got a chicken down here waiting patiently for some. Oh, bless you. I'll sort you in a minute, my love. You've been so good. Anyway, Christine Brown is watching. She says, good morning in Nottingham today. Doesn't say how the weather is. Kelly Webb is also watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in. Lindsay Lamb is watching. Shane Bowen is watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Shane. Hope all is well. Morning, Ginge. Today will be sunny with light cool breezes. It certainly has. A high of 17 degrees, which will feel like 21. Have a great day. Thank you for that. Amanda Gregory is watching as well. John Clifford is watching. He says it's 25 degrees in Salubia. Fantastic. Thank you for that, John. Shane Bowen also says, Gallimera Ginge from a sunny and frosty Exmoor. Brrr, how are the buzzards? Are they still there hanging about? Rachel Hampson is also watching. Patsy Ann Dobson says, good morning, Ginge, from a cold Margate. Oh, Margate. Hope your weekend is going well. Stay safe. Oh, bless. I love Margate. If you ever get to the UK, go and check out Margate. What a great town. It's really on the turn at the moment, and a lovely place and lovely people as well. Hilary Rogers is watching. Lovely to see you. Lorna Grant says, morning all. Hilary Rogers, haha, keep missing you with a kiss. Thank you. We can always catch me on YouTube on Catch Up, or here on the site, because obviously the news goes up, then you can. And also as well, can I say hello to Les Paul in Florida, who's taking inspiration from my broadcast and using bits of it for his online pastoral duties. He said to me yesterday that he is doing a European-wide a sort of prayer thing, and he's using bits from my show, and I look at that as a compliment. So I'm very curious to see how this satellite broadcast you're going to do, Les Paul, is going to go. I really am. Anyway, Peter Dyer says, Galimera, Ginge, all looking in. Have a great weekend. Thank you for that. He sends his love to everybody. Brett Weston is watching. Les Hardman, my old Raffridge buddy, tuning in as well. His daughter had a birthday the other day. Anyway, happy birthday to you and your daughter, the big fella. Lorna Grant has signed the petition for Zanti Strays. Well done, my lovely. It's below somewhere. Just stroll down, sign it, leave a comment, let people know. I've been very surprised at some of the people been signing the petition, and it's some people from the past, and it's really, really delightful to see people put in a little message in there, and it's very easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of work to do the message itself. Anyway, Anna the Fridge Watkins is watching. Amanda Gregory. Tough times at the moment for the shelters, she says, all full of pups being dumped every day. And it is, because where do these pups go? They get picked up off the street, and where do they go? And again, what happens then, it leads to abuse, where people won't have their animals spayed or neutered, and they then have these puppies, and they either go and shoot them, or they poison them, or they just dump them somewhere for somebody else to have the responsibility. All right. So once again, sign the petition below, please. OK. Alan the Higgins says, morning, Ginge. Sunny but fresh here in Glasgow. Oh, that's good to see. Graham Bint is also watching as well. Lovely to have you tuning in from Australia. I hope all is well there at the moment. Maureen Els from around the corner is tuning in. How's that turkey in the freezer, my love? We'll eat it one day. Don't worry. Paul Bruff is also watching as well. Chris Baxter is also tuning in. Nice to see you tuning. Thank you for your little message, Chris. I did have a read of that yesterday, but I won't talk about it now because I've lost my train of thought on that, and I don't want to add any confusion. But thank you for that little message, and I will reiterate it once I have had a look at it, and also had a little bit of an investigation to it. Just to remind you that Chris is back in the UK at the moment. Chris is trying to get back over here into Zakynthos, but at the moment it's proving expensive, and it's also proving a bit confusion in what is required to get back here. So again, I'll have a look at what you've sent me, and for a bit of a clearer clarification. But anyway, cheers for tuning in as well. And don't forget, I've got my Northern Soul show tonight, Chris, going out on Beats Radio at 5 o'clock UK time till 7 o'clock. All right. So tune in and enjoying the fun of the show. Anyway, Steve Hinklin is saying Galimera, looking good here. I might be able to get my washing out on the line. Bless, that's the weather forecast for Stoke-on-Trent. Get your washing out. Sharon Parker is watching as well. Lovely to see you. Sam Curtis in Brighton is also tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the Beats Anthem show on Friday, fella. Again, I will be getting that show up online from Friday's broadcast for you to watch at your own leisure. And I'm looking forward to doing my next shows next week as well. Anyway, Bob Monroe is looking in as well. Thank you for the awareness of the situation here. That's from Amanda. Thank you. My pleasure. No problem at all. Mount Wheat is watching. Dave Lowry is watching. Paula Codstone is watching. Gary Butler is watching as well. Nice to see you as well, big fella. John Clifford says, it's Piccolo Day. I should celebrate having a urine infection and leakage from a shotgun wound. The doctor recommended I learn to play the piccolo. Right, there you go. He's a madman, I'll tell you that now. Derek and Bridget Cole over there in Cyprus are tuning in as well. Lovely to see you. Jane Ferrant is also watching. Christine Wildridge is watching. Denise Tyndall is watching. Nigel Steer is watching. Big Al Thompson is watching. I'm going to leave it there. Once again, thank you for all those people who've been tuning in. Once again, I've got my Northern Soul show going up online on beatsradio.co.uk, 5 o'clock UK time, which is 7 o'clock Greek time. Come and join the show. It is recorded, but I will be in the chat room lurking, taking any requests or dedications for future shows. Right, that's it from me. Jane, today I think we're just going to do our own little piccolo parade around the streets of Macardo as part of our exercise. Listen out for the whistles and the streamers as we get led away by the police for breaking the curfew probably, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. I'll keep my ear to the ground. I better get the cat in and also get the little chicken fed, and you have a nice day. Ta-ra.